Screens, 4K. Today's video is not about this. Today's video is about this. This is the Mavic Pro 2. We're coming up on the year mark of when the Mavic 2 Pro was released. It was released in July of 2018. So we're just a few months away from it being the 1 year anniversary. And I'm just barely getting it. Before the Mavic Pro 2, I had a Mavic Pro. And if you watch my channel, then you know that my Mavic Pro was stolen from me while I was camping in a snow igloo. If you want to see that video, it's right here. And had my Mavic Pro not been stolen from me, I wouldn't have the Mavic Pro 2. I'd be perfectly content with my Mavic Pro. Not because the Mavic 2 Pro is a bad drone. It's not. In fact, it's way better than my Mavic Pro ever was. It's got a bigger sensor, it flies faster, it flies longer. Everything about the Mavic 2 Pro is better than the Mavic Pro. But I don't really make any money off of my photography. I get a little bit, thanks to you guys, off of YouTube, but really not much. Unless I'm making money from it, I didn't see the value in buying an even more expensive drone or a newer drone when I wasn't really making money with the current drone that I had. But it was stolen, can't fix it now, it's gone. And I happened to find a good deal on a Mavic Pro 2, so I pulled the trigger. So I took it down to Central Utah with me to explore some of the areas that I was gonna be in this weekend and do a review / a little bit of a vlog as per requested by you guys. So let's get into it. So you guys wanted to know what I do with my weekends, and this is pretty much it. It's about 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning out in the middle of one of these national parks that I'm visiting, and this is kind of what's going on. So this is what we're taking pictures of this morning. That's Zach, he's a photographer that I met on Instagram. That's Elliot, he's from Australia.
Rocky. Aspiring
photographer maybe. This is Tara over here, she's getting her set up. All set up, and the sun is just starting to rise. We've got a couple more buddies coming down that way, so I'm gonna get my setup and we're gonna take some pictures. Get this one will probably go on Instagram, and then Elliot all the way down there just catching all the view. Man, that is insane. So going over right now to get a different angle. But it's kind of what the mornings are all about when you're out taking pictures. It's just kind of running around, finding different angles, different perspectives. Thought I'd show you guys what this morning looked like, since inside a national park you can't actually fly drones. You know, it's times like these where you actually want to be flying the drone because there's these super awesome views, but inside of the national parks you're not supposed to, it's illegal, so we're not gonna fly the drone here, but there are some surrounding areas where we're gonna take the Mavic 2 out, check it out, and there's some really awesome landscape stuff, as well as some really cool textures. It's pretty rad. I'm excited to show you guys. This is the other part of taking pictures. You find friends that also take pictures and will pose for you. Elliot, thanks for being the model.
Yeah, mate, no worries.
He's making his accent sound a lot stronger than it actually is, but I have no complaints about it. I've had the Mavic 2 for a little bit, I've taken it out a few times, played with some of the flight modes, but what I want to look at and go over with you guys is some of the technical stuff. Battery life, flight distance, max altitude, stuff like that may help you make a decision as to whether or not you want to get the Mavic Pro 2, the original Mavic Pro, or maybe something else like a Mavic Air. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better idea for what drone is going to be best suited for your needs. All right, so I think we found a pretty good area to send the drone up. We're outside of the national park, so everything's legal. I'm going to play around with a couple of features on the Mavic Pro 2. The Pro 2 has a hyperlapse feature, but I think it's better if there's a little bit more motion. I don't know that there's that much here. There's not much motion going on. The area we're gonna be filming is this. So that whole thing back there is what we'll be filming. We're hoping to get up on top of this ridge right over here. And hopefully that will give us a better vantage point, give us a little bit more texture in what we're looking to take pictures of. Elliot, what kind of shots do you think we should get?
Probably like the ocular lens, zoom out with the X Series 2, and then maybe retract it and do some triangular shots. I think would be good.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds great. Okay, I think this is a good spot to send the drone up, send it over that way, and see what all these textures look like. One thing I will say about the Mavic 2 is it handles sun flares really, really well. Much better than the original Mavic did. Also, I've gotten better at using the drones over time, so I know a little bit more how to control the settings. Keep an eye out for some of those shots on my Instagram. I'll link these two Instagrams as well. They'll probably have some shots that go up too. Keep an eye out for those. Cool. All right, so let's talk about the tech specs. Flight time with the new Mavic Pro is about 31 minutes. In comparison, the original Mavic Pro had a flight time of about 27 minutes, so you get about 4 more minutes off of each battery with the Mavic Pro 2. Your max speed also goes up with the Mavic Pro 2. So instead of a max speed of 40 miles an hour with the original Mavic, you get a max speed of 45 miles an hour with the Mavic Pro 2. Another thing that they added to the Mavic Pro 2 that I think is super awesome is sensors all around the drone. You have sensors in the front, you have sensors in the back, you have sensors on each side, you have sensors on the bottom, and then you have sensors on the top. So you're literally covered 360 degrees around the Mavic Pro 2 as well as above and below. It makes it way harder to crash, which is super nice because the Mavic Pro 2 is still about $1,500. So if you drop $1,500 into a drone and then you go out and you're flying it around and then it flies into a tree, you're gonna be pretty bummed because you just wasted $1,500.
We crashed Zach's drone inside the tippy top of one of these trees that are incredibly high. We thought it would be a great idea to take the other drone, my drone, and fly it at a very high speed and hit the other drone that's stuck to dislodge it so that they both could come tumbling out of the tree. Unfortunately, that brilliant idea backfired on us. Now we have two $1,500 drones stuck in the top of these trees.
But now it's much less likely that that's gonna happen because you have all of the sensors. So thumbs up for more sensors. It makes me feel better as I'm flying it, as I'm sure it does anybody else that's flying it. You do still have all the same flight modes in the Mavic Pro 2 that we had in the Mavic Pro, but they did improve the active track features. So the Mavic Pro 2 is better at predicting where an object is gonna go if it becomes hidden or the view becomes obstructed for a minute. You do still have the same point of interest, so you can have the drone focus on one central point in an image that you wanna get, and you can pan around that. You can adjust up and down, and you can adjust the speed of how fast it's panning around the subject. That still works really well, although I didn't really play around with it too much in the original Mavic. I just knew that I had it. The flight mode that you have in the Mavic Pro 2 that we didn't have in the Mavic Pro is the hyperlapse feature, which is a cool feature, but I have yet to use it because I pretty much control my drone entirely manually. I just like to have full control over my drone, where it's going, what it's doing, and the more I play with it, the better I get, and so the more I want that control. So I don't use much of the flight modes, but they are really great if it's your first drone or if you're flying a drone for the first time, you don't really know what you're doing. They're really great to use as beginner teaching tools. So if you're getting a drone for the first time, take a look at the flight modes. I think they are really beneficial to help you get a feel for the way the drone moves. And then you can kind of transition away from those as you get better and more comfortable flying the drone on your own. The picture that's produced out of the Mavic Pro 2, or the image that you're capturing, whether video or photo, is so much better than the Mavic Pro. You have a huge sensor compared to the original Mavic. On the Mavic Pro 2, you have a 1-inch Hasselblad sensor, which is over double the size of what the original Mavic was. Basically what that means is because you have a bigger sensor size, that sensor is getting more data and more information from each picture, each section of video that you get, and you're gonna have a better looking overall image, and you're gonna have more control over what that image ultimately turns out looking like. The area where I notice this the most is if I'm shooting sunsets or sunrises, where there's a pretty bright sky and kind of a shadowy background. I had the Mavic Pro 2 with me when I was in Hawaii about a month ago, and I filmed this sunset that I was on this huge, just super jagged cliff that just stretched all the way down. And I filmed the entire thing just on the auto setting, and it turned out so good. I was watching it back, playing it back on my phone, and I was just like, this is insane. The way that it processed all of that was something that my Mavic Pro would never have been able to do. The other part of the Mavic Pro 2's camera that I absolutely love is the fact that I can control the aperture. So during low light situations, I can open that aperture up to f2.8, which means it's really wide open. It's letting a ton more light in, and I can still get the image that I want. Or if it's super bright outside, I can close that aperture down, get it down to like f8 or something like that, so it's much more closed up. There's not as much light going in. It just gives me more control over the way the camera processes everything, which I absolutely love because that's exactly what I do with my DSLR. So overall, the Mavic Pro 2 is absolutely positively awesome. It blows the Mavic out of the water, and it performs way better than I could have ever asked for. It processes everything way better than I could have asked for. However, if you have the Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, and you're not dying to upgrade to the Mavic Pro 2, or if you're on the fence about upgrading to the Mavic Pro 2 because you have the original Mavic, I would say don't upgrade. I wouldn't have done it had my drone not been stolen and had I not been able to find a good deal on the Mavic Pro 2. But couldn't have asked for a better drone or better product from DJI, and I'm super stoked to see what they come out with. Probably next year when they come out with the new Mavic. So yeah, to be determined on that. But thanks a ton for watching, guys. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.